Hello everybody, so this is going to be a 60k subscribe special stream, so thank you to anybody that subscribes and likes my videos, and obviously even more of a thank you to people that donate, because that helps me get stuff. So if you did want to support me, I'll say this before a load of people get in, so if anybody watches back the stream, it's at the beginning. You can either support me by giving a super chat, which you can do through the YouTube chat on the side of the page. You can support me on Patreon, there's a link below to that. And you could also just buy the merch, like I'm wearing at the moment. I'm not actually wearing the S10 as much as it looks a lot like the CT12. But yeah, so thank you very much. When I last checked, it said 59,999 subscribers. So what I'm going to do, and don't forget to like the stream, everybody, because that seems to help Google or YouTube share my stuff. And of course, the more people that, share my stuff, the more subscribers I get and whatever and ever. So I'm going to do this stream entirely in the CT12. So we'll see if that gets to become a bit of a challenge. Hopefully you can hear me all right. This has got the 2 voice diaphragms on, one in the blanking plug, one obviously under the voice trumpet thing. But that was in a regular video, which I'd filmed a month in advance. This is actually live in a live stream for like an hour. What, because they're glowing with the light? Yeah, I suppose so. You may also notice that I've got the stick grenade over there, if I can point to it correctly. Stick grenade there. And that sign's up now. And the other sign's up there as well. I'll just tilt the thing up so you can see that. Toxic dump, that one. Because I bought a load of nails that were suitable for putting into drywall. And I've nailed them all in. Yeah, the subscriber count will go up and down a bit, because obviously you will get people that unsubscribe and stuff, so it goes up and down, but pretty much any time today it will hit 60k, and by tomorrow it will be safely over 60k. I don't think I've ever had a day on YouTube where I've lost more subscribers than I've gained in a day. Some days I won't gain much on net subscribers, but I don't think I've ever had a day, at least not in years, that I've got minus number of subscribers, except the days when YouTube does the subscriber audits and then everybody loses subs. Because those are the day they just delete lots and lots of old accounts that aren't used anymore. And when that happens, obviously you lose subscribers for that reason, because the accounts are deleted. Yeah, thank you. Right, I'll go to the chat in a minute, because obviously I want to be reading and chatting with people, but I just thought I'd do the introduction to that. Oh, thank you, Putin. So everybody can say I'm the Putin shill now, because if anybody's interested, I'll put this on there. It's saying 59999 at the moment. But yeah, you can click on the social blade thing and you can watch it. So you can see people subscribing and unsubscribing, but it's basically 60k. I'm going to be streaming for at least an hour, and I'm going to wear this mask for the entirety of this stream. So I might go over an hour. If the chat's good and everything, I'll go over an hour. But the only problem is obviously my jaw's going to ache by the end of it, because you have to move your jaw more to talk with a gas mask on. The numbers don't always line up. On some YouTube bits, my sub number's like 30 or 40 different. Is that the one on my channel you're looking at? I can actually check that. Let me have a look. It says 59997 on my YouTube channel homepage. What's up, Richard? I don't know if I missed a previous comment from you. Evening, Vladimir, and thank you. All right, Killstrike. I said I'll try and not miss out comments, but when the chat goes a bit fast, I'll miss them, especially if I go off chatting to people. Yep, I got the CT12 years and years ago on eBay, maybe like 2011, 2012 sort of time. And the CT12 is obviously one I really like, but sadly they're not that easy to get. The main reason being the FM12 is fairly easy to get, but the CT12 is like the less produced version of it, because it's all of the blanking plugs on both sides. Regular FM12, some models have the blanking plugs, some don't. And obviously no drinking tube. If you look there where the drinking tube would be, I think it just says Avon CT12, doesn't it? But there you go. So they've removed the drinking tube system, as you can see, and the entire thing's been filled in with like rubber and plastic. Cool. Speaking of the Polish MP5, last night I ordered the French mask it was based on because there's finally some turning up on the surplus market for like 30 to 40 pounds. It's actually in a tan colour, which is pretty cool. So it's one of the few masks I've got that is a bit camouflaged. Oh, that's really cool, Lewis. That sounds great. Congratulations on that. What's the point of what, GDR dog? This is the 60k special Nautilus. Pressure check. Yeah, here we go. There you go. Ow, my ears popped. Ah. That's the pressure of pressure checks. It's like if you're on an aeroplane, you know, ascending or descending, you get your ears pop. I've done some videos like that, emulator, but I suppose if you were more interested in a certain series of masks or whatever, you could suggest them, or like what a country's done to change the designs of its mask. But I have done some on like different masks throughout the corridor and stuff like that. What's that, Chris, with the French mask? I'll have to look up what that mask was called because I've already forgotten the name of it. I'm going to buy a Mark 6 helmet, but ARFA gas mask with a yellow bag and a yellow mask, like yellow tan. But thank you, History Reviews. Oh, do I, Frosty? Cheers. Let's have a look. Yeah, 60,001. It wouldn't surprise me if some people on purposely unsub now just to drive it down, but by tomorrow it will definitely be safely over 60k. No. Name sounds vaguely familiar, that guy, but I have no idea who that is. Yeah, well, as said, this mask I'm wearing is my personal favourite mask out of all of them. And this is the one where I've got it set up ready to go. So it's in my like grab bag for a mask. So I've got the mask and this filter in there. I've also got this filter sealed up, which is an ABEC P3 filter. Is this an ABEC 2 P3? Yeah, ABEC 2 P3. Technically, this is out of date now because I think it ran out at the end of last year, but as it's properly sealed, I'd risk my life on it. There's some chemical gloves, which are coming out of their bag, spilling talc. So I might put these in a fresh bag in there, actually. Yeah, because these are splitting, I'll get a fresh bag for these once the stream ends, because I don't want talc all over my bag. And there is the Soviet body condom thing. They all fit in the bag. So basically, I've got the mask, 2 filters, the Soviet body condom sort of emergency NBC suit thing, and chemical gloves in here. And they all fit in this bag. It's not a waterproof bag or anything. I suppose in theory it'd be better if I bought a waterproof satchel for it, but I like this bag. So there you go. Not around on me, Nautilus. In my car, I have a couple of gas masks. I would normally only store one mask in the car, but what I end up doing is having like a dust mask style half face mask. I've got that Alpha Mesh one in there, which is pretty good. I've got one of my 3M masks in my car boot. I think it's a 7500. I've got my FM12 fully set up in the car as an emergency gas mask. And at the moment, I keep the Spaziani in there with a particulate filter as well, just for when I need a mask for the stuff. But the point is, you know, they're in the car, so if ever I need them and I'm out and about, I've got them. But let's say I go to work and stuff, I don't carry a gas mask around in a satchel with me at work or stuff like that. But, you know, for at home, I've got them in an emergency scenario if I ever needed them. And, you know, all that sort of stuff. When you say palaces, do you mean places history review? Because palaces would be a bit more interesting. But if you mean bad smells, yeah, but obviously don't wear the old asbestos filter. But if you get any filter to fit it, I mean make a proper pressure fit, like, you know, that, that's got obviously a charcoal layer in, you won't smell anything through it. I'm pretty sure I don't chemical warfare, but oh no, OZK, no, I definitely don't. That's the one that looks like the cloak kind of thing, isn't it? I think they're cool, but I've sadly never seen them for like under 40 or 50 pounds. Right, Mike. That's all right, Vladimir. Don't worry about it. Obviously, people sometimes have to just cancel their Patreons or lower it or whatever. But thanks anyway. I appreciate it. Anything people want to donate to me, I appreciate. Because even if it's just people that can do $1 on Patreon or a super chat once, that's still nice for me. Because again, it just goes towards something. Because at the moment, I'm ending up like currently again buying like 1 or 2 masks or a helmet a month. Often that can be like £50 to £100 sort of price. So. A single dollar or whatever I even get from somebody in a month goes towards it. Yep, Kill Strike. Look in the Teespring link below. This is the hoodie in orange, like the orange yellow for the S10. But yeah, the S10 one is on there. There's t-shirts, mugs. If I was drinking today, cheers, Preston. Right, as I said earlier in the chat, what I've ordered yesterday evening was that French mask I've already forgotten the name of. Maybe I'll have to get on a tattoo or something on my arm so I can just do that and look at it. Is it ANF or something like that? ARFA. Which is, I'll see if I can get an image up for you. Let's see if it works. No, it doesn't let me direct link to that image. Can I open it this way and trick eBay? Right, tell me if this link works. If this link works, that's the mask I've got coming this week in the post. The mask the Polish MP5 is based on, the French one. And I'm also going to order, when the stream ends, a Mark 6A helmet, because I've got the regular Mark 6, I've got the Mark 7, but I'd kind of like to get a Mark 6A. Yeah, you've asked me about Einsvei or however it's pronounced before, haven't you? And I still remember it, I've not forgotten. I'm pretty sure, Chris, it does. I'm pretty sure it's like 2 there, 2 there. I don't think there's one at the back. I'm pretty sure it's 2 there, like 2 kind of near the front like that, and then 2 there. Oh, so did he do a stream in one when did he do a stream then? Because I knew he was streaming in his bedroom. Or was that one from like a week ago or something? Yeah, I'll definitely do an updated EDC video. Good point. Because, yeah, thank you, Ukatin, if I'm pronouncing the name right. Because, yeah, my EDC is quite different now, because obviously I don't work in the city. I'm not at risk of getting stabbed, because my body armor's never in my EDC. What I'll also do in the EDC video is show you my car boot, because that might interest some people, seeing, like, what's in the boot of my car when I'm out and about. Yeah, that's kind of a cool colour and coincidence history, because I just got the orange because it's high contrast with the black, and I like orange as a colour. It's one of my favourite colours. I've sort of done those in spooky streams before, Will, but the only thing I don't like about the idea of doing a conspiracy stream is if you start getting the stuff like the Holocaust was fake and all that kind of stuff, in the stream. Obviously, people are allowed to have that opinion, but it's not, opinions like that I don't really approve of. And I'm kind of worried it might just turn into a shit fest of, like, the most bizarre and absurd conspiracies. Okay. Because, on Friday, that was the one, Mike, wasn't it, where I was watching it until about, I think it was 10 to 11, my PC crashed and took a while to restart. Because it was one of those fucking Windows 10 blue screens where it's like, don't restart your computer, we're collecting data from this crash, blah, 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 blah. And then I had to do a few restarts afterwards because it wasn't recognizing my keyboard as usual. Well, I'd include it in an EDC video, so I'd show you like regular EDC stuff. And then I'd show you the car as well, so you can see what's sort of in there. I'd have to include this on an EDC now because I end up vaping quite a lot. But, yeah, I mean, like I said, they're welcome to that opinion, but personally, it's not an opinion I really approve of. No, because they've got raw plugs and everything on there. I've had stuff fall on me before from there, but that was the stuff I was dumb enough to put up with adhesive, not, Bart kind of likes them. A lot of them find that sort of stuff interesting, but not so much so they want to spend money and collect it. I've done that before in other videos, Lou. It doesn't really work. The filter should block everything, I think. I'll give it a quick try just to see, but I'm pretty certain the filter's going to block everything, so... Yeah, can't taste or smell anything. So, yeah, the filter blocked it, even though this is quite an old filter now, and I wouldn't trust it much, but, you know. I can show you the model numbers on it if you want, but... So it's the E-Leaf iStick 50 watts, apparently, that one. I've got two vapes, this one, and this one. I end up using this red one more. I don't think the battery capacity is actually as good as the other one, but I find it doesn't fall over as much if you've got on the surface because it's like shorter and fatter. And the thing I like with this one is the button works better. On my other one, because it's quite old, it sticks a bit. So sometimes you'll press the button and it won't work. With that one, it's quite responsive. That's all right, Nate. I'm going to wear this mask the entire stream with a filter on. Oh, that's cool, Delta. Can you post it in a comment later on the regular video? You can't post it in the streams. But if you comment on the regular video, it should hold it for review. Then I can just click approve, and then I've got the link. Yeah, it's annoying, Richard. I'm perfectly happy with Windows 7, right? What happened with me is I had Windows 7 for ages on a PC, and Vista before that, and I didn't even have that many problems with Vista. There was the free Win 10 upgrade. I initially tried to do the free Win 10 upgrade, and it just didn't work, so I had to roll back to Vista. Roll back to Windows 7. Then, after a while, they did the Win 10 stuff, and it worked on my PC. So I installed Win 10, and I had that on there for a while. I ran into a lot more errors than I used to have on my Windows 7, you know, like far more frequent crashes and stuff like that, even though the hardware hadn't changed, it was just the OS. Then what happened eventually was there was, like, a crash where it just fucking corrupted everything. I had to roll back to Win 7 with my, you know, physical disk for Windows 7. And then again, it was working absolutely fine. Got this new PC, far better hardware than the old one, but you're forced onto Windows 10 because everything has to be Windows 10 now from the factory, you know. And I've got loads of problems with it that seem to be just Windows 10 problems, you know. Microsoft can't be asked to fix it kind of problems. Especially what annoys me is the problems you can fix yourself in like the registry editor and things like that. Despite the fact that you can fix it in 5 minutes yourself, but Microsoft are too fucking lazy to do a patch to fix it themselves. You can literally get cheap working respirators like $5 to $10 pound sort of price. To be honest, I probably wouldn't include the Baofeng because I've never bothered taking it out for EDC kind of use. I generally just use my phone if I ever want to look at weather forecasts or anything like that. I never, even like my shortwave that can pick up pretty much anything I want, I never bother carrying with me. Yeah, that's the issue now, Richard, isn't it? You literally can't buy PCs with Windows pre-installed that aren't Windows 10. Problem is, I like playing games culture of critique, and most games won't run on Linux, or Linux, however you want to call it. Oh, thank you very much, Lewis. Have you got a Discord ID? If you've got a Discord ID, post it. I can add you to a friend and invite you to the Discord server. But cheers, I appreciate that. That'll go towards the Mark 6 helmet I buy later. Mark 6A anyway. Starting to feel a little bit achy, but not too bad. But I'm only 20 minutes into the stream, so, you know, there you go. I've still got 40 plus minutes to go. You need to donate to get a Discord invite, though. Yeah, it's the licensed hoodie. Sadly, I don't think. Sadly, I don't think Teespring do raincoats, because if they did a really good raincoat, you could probably get the merch design on it and then use it as an NBC suit. Like, you know, not a very durable NBC suit, but if it was a raincoat that drew up properly around the mask, it would at least, you know, cover the top part of your body. The standard S10 filter. Chris will know the name of it because I've already forgotten. Was it like the PF10 filter or something it was called? But it was the filter that was issued with the S10s. Cheers, Nate. PS10, there we go, not PF10, PS10, but yeah, I knew Chris would know. Because he seems to know all the names of the British equipment where I can never remember half of it. Right, thank you, Lewis. What's your Discord name? Is it Lewis Arthur? Because I need both your name and the number. So it's 6053. Let me load up Discord and hope Windows 10 doesn't crash to fucking blue screen of death. No, Lou, but I'm going to keep it in there because, right, Wheelchair Ambassador 6053. That's a very interesting name. Right, friends. Add friend. Wheelchair Ambassador. Hashtag 6053. Didn't work. Let me try it without the space. Yeah, there we go. Done. So as soon as you accept that, I can invite you to the server. Thank you. But yeah, there was, speaking of the Mark 7, was it Chris that posted it earlier in the Discord? That Mike B guy, I've mixed opinions on him. I like the videos where he shoots helmets. I don't necessarily like the ones where he says stuff about helmets and doesn't always get it correct. I know I don't always get stuff right about masks, but you know. Thank you, Killstrike. What type of filters do they look like? If they're kind of modern Chinese, decent size industrial military ones, they'll be fine. If they're those awful, awful, awful refillable filters, then no. But thank you for the donation as well. What was I saying before? So, cool. It says you've got a picture of Nick Frost from Hot Fuzz as your picture. The bit where he goes, shame, when they're in the supermarket. It's weird that I recognise scenes from Hot Fuzz like that. Right, online. You've got a name I can actually remember as well. There you go. Invite sent. It really depends, Bubba. If you only wanted a sealed particulate filter, they're literally just a few dollars or pounds. If you want a sealed CBRN or like ABEC 2P3 filter, which is pretty much the equivalent of most CBRN filters, and it's in date and got a decent date on it, often $20 or pounds plus. Most of them I just printed out myself. That big poster is an actual Soviet one, but it's a reprint of a Soviet one. So it's just, you know, where they've scanned a Soviet poster and then printed it at a higher resolution. I can't remember who wanted to know about old crossbows, Richard. It was on a stream I did a couple of days ago, I think, but I don't think he ever came back and asked. 20 to 30 pounds, Harris. You can get, at least on the UK eBay, there's quite a lot in that price range. Oh, cool, Willem, it was you. So yeah, you're interested in buying a gas mask. No idea what you're supposed to look for. Please help me. I'm interested in a scary modern roll gas mask. Plus I'm broke. So would you potentially, William, want a gas mask that actually works? Because that's the first thing. If you want one that works and would reliably work, you're going to mostly want to look at modern masks just because they're generally better. And obviously, the newer they are, the less likely they are to develop faults due to age. If you're not really interested in the functionality, you just want one that looks cool, then we can go from there. Also, what country are you in? Because often what you can find on the surplus market will really vary if you're in Europe or whatever. Funny you mentioned that, Mr. K. What's this? Got one. I'm not changing a mask though for this stream. I'm wearing this mask because it's my favourite mask. Right, let me scroll down in the chat because it's moved up and I've missed it. Just as I was saying, Chris, that French one. But I said I'll get a Mark 6A helmet. The one I got the other day, but I've not got round to filming the video on it yet, and then it will still be a month from when I film the video. But I had a lot of problems with this. It was broken when it arrived. The problem was the plastic they use around this bit had completely snapped off because apparently it's really, really cheap, fragile plastic, which is kind of a shame of a respirator. Otherwise, I really like the look of this, but yeah, the issue was that obviously that was really let's just do that so the mask's more of its actual shape. Really cheap. So what I've had to do is I've essentially had to super glue it back in. So I don't know if the mask would even work at this point, but at least I can do a video on it. But yeah, it was that. More than that bit had snapped, but this was the main culprit. That was snapped. So the ring was just kept falling out. The entire eyepiece fell apart. Is it the ROU, the name of this mask? I'm trying to remember, but it's kind of like what the PTMs are, but modernized. So it's got an oral nasal cup and everything in it. And it's kind of like particulate layers. Yeah, I've got that, Chris. I've just not bothered attaching it yet because it came with a couple of accessories. But the XL valve cover was the main one. But obviously, I've not done anything with it. Like, I haven't taken this off or stretched the other one over it, whatever you have to do yet. But yeah, it's basically a particle mask. I assume it's P3. I don't know if popped free there means it's like particulate level free or if it's just a size. But yeah, it's basically like Soviet or Russian flora camo on the front. You've got a particle layer in there, and you've also got a charcoal layer in the middle. I don't know if the charcoal layer would be thick enough to significantly stop any chemical warfare agents, but the main design of this mask is to protect the wearer from like radioactive dust and that kind of thing, biological weapons. What country are you in? In the UK, you could buy body armor. That's perfectly legal to own. Probably carry one of the really bright flashlights. But again, other than trying to avoid a bad situation, there's not much you can do. If you got a shovel kill strike gaming, that might work. But yeah, I basically just suggest if you can afford it, get some surplus body armor that's stab proof and bulletproof, or bullet resistant, stab resistant to be technical. Like one of those Kevlar 2 ones with a stab proof layer like the police have. If you can get quite a slimline one, you can wear it under a coat. But mostly it's going to be avoiding danger, keep vigilant. If you see a situation looks dangerous, try and get out of there rather than get pulled up into it. Is that the stuff to protect it from burning from a nuclear flash, Chris? Well, that's pretty cool, isn't it? FP203 filters should be available on eBay. Not so midnight. If not, there's FP211 filters and FP5s, but any of those modern mask pole filters should be perfectly safe. It sometimes seems you see more of one type than another on eBay. But if you just search on eBay FP and then the name, like number of the filter you're looking for, and type filter afterwards, you should hopefully find them. I've got both a Shums and a PPM88. Technically, the PPM88 should be a better mask, but I prefer the Shums. And my PPM88 is broken, so there you go. 30 to 60 pounds sort of price region, Avon. Right, I'm trying to remember all the models of Fruinite I've got on. Let's have a look. So, this isn't a Fruinite, but this is quite a good cheap flashlight. I've shown this before. It's zoomable, which is good. Right, so my Fruinites. I have got the Fruinite. I've got little mini Fruinites. Where's my... There it is. So I've got the two, I've got two of those AAA Fruinites. Then this is a very good one. This is the Archer 2AV3. So as the name implies, it's two AA batteries. This is a very good flashlight. This was like my main flashlight for quite a while. So this one, it does... I think that's Firefly at the moment, which is lowest mode. I'll just say a strobe warning now. Obviously, if you're epileptic, you might want to be careful watching this. So I think that's Firefly at the moment, which is the lowest mode. Low, medium, high. So it does those modes. It's back to Firefly again. And it also has a strobe if you hold that down. So this is a good torch, the Fruite Archer 2A, is it? 2AV3. The other Fruites I've got, the bigger ones, I don't know if these have got batteries in at the moment, so if I try and show them they don't work, it's because they've not got batteries in or not charged in ages. I've got two of the Fruite headlamp ones. Fruite TH20 and a TH10. I think the TH10, despite the name being a short name, is actually the brighter one. So the TH, that's not turning on. So the battery's flat in this one if I've even got a battery in it. Let's check that. There is some. Need to charge those. Right, I'll charge those once the stream ends. So can't show you this one because the batteries aren't charged for it. And there's also the TH20, which also has flat batteries, so I can't show you that one. I think they both take the same type of batteries, don't? Oh no, this actually saying that this is a AA. So in theory, I can show you this one. Right. Let me put a different AA battery into it, and then I can show it you. Actually, I don't know how handy I've got AA. I know the other three might have them, but never mind. Right. Yeah, forget that. Actually, tell you what, I will, because the Fruite's right here on the desk, isn't it? So that is a rechargeable good, so I can recharge that later. I have a DuPont Taichem suit, but that's a very crinkly suit. I don't really like it because it's just really, really loud when you're walking about with it. That's the wrong cap, isn't it? This one. Avon CT12, my favourite mask, and it was in today's video as well. Oh, there we go. Shined it right in my eye. So, let's go for the Stalker aesthetic, shall we? This one's got a couple of different modes on it. So you've got the, I'll do that away from the camera so it's not too bright. I don't know which mode it's on currently. I think this is actually the one you hold it down to go low and high. So there's an SOS one, I think. Yeah, there you go. See, it goes lower. Oh, and that's to indicate it's at the edge of each cycle, isn't it? Yeah, that's right. So yeah, that's the brightest it goes, and the other mode was the lowest. And then I think this might have a strobe mode. Hang on. This one might not actually. I can't remember. Alright, but there's a few modes on this, but I can't remember what settings they go to. Hopefully the webcam will brighten back up again in a moment. When it realizes, you know. I hope I've not somehow burned the webcam out with that, but the problem is I think it's a YouTube auto brightness thing for the webcam in the stream. I think it's now gone really dark because it was used to the Right, let me just play about with the lighting a minute. I want to see if I can get it to realize that it's too dark. If I do that, actually. Right, I'll cover it for a minute, Mike, and see what happens. It might be as soon as I start the stream again, it'll be fine. But I'm not going to obviously end the stream because of this. Cheers, Elite SAS. Tell you what, let me turn the lights off completely for a moment and see what happens that way. Right, what I'm hoping will happen in a moment is that it will actually realise that, you know, the lighting is been cut, but you never know. Right, let me turn the flashlight on now. See, that looks fine. So that actually looks like what you'd expect with a flashlight. Blow out soon, fellow stalker. See, that looks all right. That is what I'd expect the lighting to look like if I Okay, so let's turn the lights back on. Right, so that's that. Let's turn the main light on. That's really weird because basically it's still washed out. I think what the camera's doing is that when I've got the I'll get my brightest flashlight and test that. I think what it's doing is it's essentially the YouTube streaming software has set it up. See, the colors are fine, so it's not anything wrong with the webcam. I think what YouTube's done is it's adjusted the brightness on the webcam to the brightest light it gets during the stream. So see, if I do that, the colors are fine, look. But as soon as this goes away, it gets too dark again. So yeah, that's what it is it doesn't have a brightness adjustment thing as far as I can tell on the oh, there we go. It's fixed. All of a sudden, the auto brightness thing triggered and it goes, oh yeah, it was too dark, wasn't it? Right, thanks Delta Gaming. I'll look later on and see if I can order that. It's totally down to opinion, Black Panther. It depends what you're after. Do you want a rubber one or a fabric one? The best fabric suit I've got is the Polish Foo one, but that's very modern. The best rubber one I've got is one I built myself from, well, I say built, it's fishing waders combined with a Polish, I'm trying to remember the name of it now. L1 suit, is it? No, let me look that up, Pedro. When I type FG130V, it comes up with a light bulb, which is kind of appropriate for what happened in the stream. Let me put the word filter after it. No, nothing's coming up. Just literally light bulbs. So unless the Soviets decided to put a light bulb on a gas mask, I'm not getting any results, I'm afraid. Yeah, they come in a charcoal bag, so they last a while. The good ones come in pressurized foil wrappers. But the issue is I found the charcoal ones is that sometimes how they work is basically it's like fabric that's treated with a chemical to make it water resistant or waterproof. But what happens is once they get wet enough, the water just floods through. So if there was a lot of gas around, you know, it's like water vapory type stuff, if it went wrong, you'd die basically very quickly. The rubber suits are basically completely impermeable. All right, Mike. Well, so FG65K, let's try that. Again, nothing coming up. The only filters coming up are like ones for cars. The thing is, Bubba, I wouldn't pay that for one. They're decent enough filters, but again, if you're having to pay that much shipping, you want to get a different filter, really. I don't know if trade war stuff, if you can import stuff from China easily, because supposedly modern Chinese filters are quite good, like the military ones, not the cheapo paint spray type ones. And they're GOST fitted, so they'd fit a GOST mask. But again, an FP5 filter, if they're in the £10 to £20 mark, that's a good price. If they're $30, £30 plus, I would not pay that. Yeah, there's some Chinese filters, Nate, which are coffee can ones, but sadly I've not seen them for sale for a while. Good Deltade, hit 60k subscribers, assuming it's not gone below that yet. 60,005 at the moment. Yeah, the reason for that, supposedly, TechStorm, is that as 5.56 as a cartridge has improved over the years, apparently they can now get similar to rifle velocities and performance from a carbine barrel. So there's no reason to have a longer barrel. Obviously, if you now shot the modern 5.56 cartridges from a full-length AR-15 or M16, you would still get better performance still. But the point is, they've now got like old M16 performance from an M4 kind of length barrel. The issue they had with 5.56 for quite a while from carbines was the round didn't perform properly ballistically, because I don't think it was going fast enough when it left the barrel or something like that. I can't tell you anymore, Jack. When I got mine, it was under £400. Now, all deactivated guns in the UK are absurdly expensive, so I don't know, because I won't be buying any more deacts. Yeah, Nate, Chinese filters. Well, maybe look at loads of my videos or other people's videos on gas masks and decide which ones you think look nice. I don't know. Yeah, I'm really starting to feel it in my jaw now. I have to survive 18 more minutes. I reckon I can do it. The thing is, a lot of Eastern European armies are kind of in the process, aren't they? Because a lot of them have joined NATO or want to join NATO, where they're kind of like in this weird process of they've got loads of old Soviet stuff, but they're also buying NATO stuff and they're having compatibility problems. That's why Poland, interestingly, made the FP5 style filters, the normalized filters. Because where Poland had lots and lots of Warsaw Pact masks left in 40mm GOST, and they were then going to a NATO 40mm mask, they essentially didn't want to, do double production runs of filters with different screw threads. So what they ended up doing was designing a filter screw that would work on both masks. But obviously with cartridges, you can't easily do that. You can't make a cartridge for two different calibers of gun that would fire no problems from either. Thank you, Maxi. Right, you'll be on Twitch tomorrow, but you're not on anything tonight. Thanks for letting me know, Mike. I'll watch a film then or something when the stream ends. Never really watched hockey, ice hockey or regular hockey, Killstrike. I played a little bit of hockey when I was at school, but not very much when we did like PE kind of sports, different sports. But ice hockey I've never really watched, and it's not really a thing in the UK, to be honest. I know in like Canada and that it's really popular, but in the UK I've never seen anybody get excited about hockey. I mean, I don't like football either, so there's that, and everybody here loves football. Football. But yeah, I'm not into football. That depends on your opinion, F4 Phantom. There's lots and lots of good uses for 5.56. The issue with a lot of cartridges is you have a cartridge that's designed to do one thing, or several things, and then the cartridge ends up getting used for purposes it wasn't designed for, then people say it's a shit cartridge. So a good example of this is the US M1 carbine used a 30 carbine round. I can show you actually. Let's get that out. Just a second. Actually, I can get this down easier than when I had the old PC there. Take this around. Right. So a US 30 carbine, right? very good World War II rifle, designed for basically rear echelon troops or paratroopers that didn't need the full power M1 Garand. So it was very, very light for a World War II gun, quite compact. It actually weighs less than an M4 does, just to give you an impression of how light these are. If you made one with plastic furniture, it'd be lighter still. But it used a round called the 30 carbine. So let's just eject the mag. So 30 carbine rounds are pretty small, as you can see. They're definitely not proper rifle rounds. The 30 carbine is kind of like a 357 Magnum in terms of power. A lot more powerful than something like 9mm or 45 ACP. Nowhere near as powerful as like the Lee Enfield 303. Far, far, far less powerful than the American 30-06 M1 Garand used and the Springfield used. But for what it was designed for, it was a good enough round. You know, like very low recoil, you know, with enough power for guys to have something more powerful than the pistol, less powerful than M1 Garand. In World War II, I'm putting that in the right list. There you go. In World War II, the M1 carbine was really popular. The issue was that in the Korean War, it got used in engagement ranges far, far, far out of the conditions it was designed for. The 30 carbine cartridge is designed for kind of like 200 meters probably max. 300 meters is probably pushing it really far, but 200 meters or less, or 200 yards or less, it was designed to be a very effective alternative to like pistols and submachine guns. In the Korean War, it was used at like half a kilometer engagement ranges, and it was useless. Lots of people then started trashing this gun, saying it was shit, when it's really not. And I think this is the problem 5.56 has had similarly. 5.56 was designed in the mentality that you would have a very big war if the Cold War kicked off between America and its NATO allies and the Soviet Union and the Warsaw Pact. The idea was that they'd fight over the Fulda Gap in Germany and lots of Europe, where there'd be quite short engagement ranges when infantry are actually shooting at each other. So you'd have tanks and APCs and planes and everything striking each other, but the infantry would be basically firing quite a lot of rounds at lots and lots and lots of other troops. The idea was with 5.56 that you could have a soldier carry a lot more ammunition. It would be very low recoil. It'd be quite a low flat trajectory round. And if it hit somebody, even if it didn't kill somebody, a medic would need to evacuate them from the battlefield. So what you essentially had was something that was perfectly designed for the kind of engagements it was designed for. The issue was that 5.56 started being used in Iraq and Afghanistan against insurgents. And insurgents will fight your basically side's weakest thing. Insurgents don't fight you on an open battlefield. Insurgents ambush you and everything like that. So what a lot of insurgents started doing in Afghanistan and Iraq, and bear in mind Afghanistan has really long lines of sight and things like that, is they would use old rifles like Lee Enfield and full power battle rifles and everything else to snipe soldiers with 5.56 rounds, and then as the soldiers with 5.56 rounds chased them and closed in, the insurgents would flee. Again, that's not a problem with 5.56. It's the issue of giving soldiers a rifle round designed for shorter range in combat and urban warfare to soldiers in very, very long sightline kind of things. Surplus just means it's stuff that's been sold on because there's too much of it or it's obsolete. Well, that's because I guess the Soviets built stuff to be very simple textile, I guess. I've not thought about it too much, but... Favourite old-time movie? What time period are you on about, Killstrike? And I can try and tell you, because old-time might mean different things to other people. We on about 1960s, 1930s, what? When you say Duponi, I assume you mean DuPont, or Dupont. And I don't like Tai Chem suits myself, but they might do other suits than that. It's actually a hoodie, but thank you. 1960, that's easy. If we're on about the 60s, Dr. Strangelove or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. I've done videos on my DuPont suit, Black Panther. Watch that and you'll realise quite quickly why I don't like it. The F-35 I would agree with you on. I don't think it's completely useless, but I think it's been quite a bit of a scam. The thing with the F-35 is it was basically designed for roles there were already planes competent enough to do. It was designed as a jack-of-all-trades plane, and it's not good at any of those things as the specialized planes. And Lockheed keep doing this thing where they go, oh, it's running over budget and a feature doesn't work, give us more money to fix it. And they essentially kick the can down the road, getting more and more and more money out of the F-35 project. I've already answered that question, Black Panther. In my opinion, out of all of the suits I own, the Polish Fu-1 suit, out of all the suits ever made, I don't know. The one on my face, DJT. Oh yeah, that's very good from the 1960s and some of the other Dollars trilogy films. Yeah, slip of the tongue. Also, it's the 80th anniversary of Germany starting World War II today. 80 years ago today, Germany invaded Poland, starting World War II. Just as a sort of reminder and memorial thing. This is kind of tempting to keep clicking. It's the screw cap from the torch. All-time favourite plane? Well, Belsen in Russia. I didn't know that was actually 1st of September, but yeah. That depends, because there's a couple of planes I really like, and they're from different time periods. Out of all the World War II planes, probably the Stuka Ju-87, just because of the siren and, you know, it looked cool. I know it was shit at dogfighting and everything, but it was a fighter bomber, not a fighter. In terms of the Cold War, early Cold War, English Electric Lightning, just because I think it's really aesthetic, and it was, you know, back when England could, or the UK could make good stuff. In terms of, like, modernish planes, probably the A-10, because Concorde's cool, and Concordski is cool as well. It's a shame they stopped using Concorde, but basically, again, it was, you know, they had a few accidents with them, and then they suddenly didn't trust to use them. I know you've posted quite a lot, Sir Moderator. I don't think you've been on for a while, but you used to be on quite a lot, didn't you? You can play Milsim Airsoft in the UK. I don't have to go to America to do that. Good. I've been at work all day, hit 60,000 subscribers today, so that's what this stream's for. Doing the entire stream in a gas mask. I'm also starting to get a bit of pain in my temples there now. So I've got pain there and pain here. I think that's the biggest thing with wearing a gas mask for long periods that a lot of people don't think about is probably the pressure it puts on your face in certain places. Well, you won't get it, Mr. K. Only people I sort of know personally, in a sense, get it. I don't think an air conditioner will fit inside a mask, Killstrike, considering how big an air conditioning unit is. Best fighter jet nowadays? Well, I'm not really clued up on all the stuff that's kind of currently working, but the F-15 and F-16 were really good. Eurofighter Typhoons are meant to be pretty bloody good. The Russians have a couple of quite good ones, don't they? Like the Sukhoi 27 and like some of the derivatives of that. Is it called the Pak-50 or something that the Russians are developing at the moment, which is meant to be like their kind of universal F-22 style plane? See you, Marcus. Yeah, I know the A-10's ground support, but that's why I like it, because Why am I going to die in the mask? I've worn it for 55 minutes already. I don't think another 5 to 10 minutes is going to hurt, is it? Well, it does hurt slightly, but, you know. Right, thank you, TJT. Well, I've reviewed one DuPont Taichem suit. I don't really want to review another. Because again, the problem is the NBC suits take up a lot of room. A lot of the DuPont Taichem suits kind of are disposable suits. So they're kind of designed where you pull a load of tape off, stick them together, and then kind of just rip them off when you're done with them. I've seen clips from it, but I've not seen the whole movie, Thin Softer. I watched a sort of interesting one yesterday evening, Mike, called Exmoor, and it's set in Exmoor National Park, you know, in the UK. And it's about some people looking for like a panther, and then they accidentally discover a serial killer that dumps bodies in the woods. That was sort of good. The only annoying thing is the main two characters are meant to be American, but one of them is played by an English actor, and it is so obvious he's English, not American, because quite often he pronounces words, and you can hear he's very English when he says them. In a degree, Nate, yes, but not behind a counter. What's what called, Eben? I don't know what you mean, use rockets and ordinary objects. What do you mean by that, Killstrike? Well, I don't really want to pick sides on a conflict where two countries could fling nukes at each other. Obviously, it's quite worrying, isn't it? But we don't get into politics on these streams, Black Panther, so if you want to keep bringing up politics, you have to get a timeout or a block, I'm afraid. Sorry, what was that, Beeben? The film I was on about Exmoor was the name of the film. Right, that's really digging into my head now for some reason. I'm not going to take the mask off. I'm just wondering why this particular strap all of a sudden feels like there's a load of pressure on it. Strange. Odd. Why isn't that? Well, have you done stuff like that in Gmod, Killstrike, where you just randomly attach thrusters to things and watch how everything crashes horribly? Yeah, X more, but I don't think there's an E in the name of it in the film. I think it's just like X and then more. What do you mean by an expedition vehicle? Because if you say doing an expedition vehicle, does that mean fucking one? I've not got really a fetish for sticking my dick in car exhausts, I'm afraid. Yeah, there's lots of videos I've done like that, Charlie, saying here's some surplus masks at various price points I recommend. Right, Black Panther, you're going, I'm afraid, because I don't know why you're here, but you just keep complaining about stuff, so goodbye. Obviously, I'm wearing a mask during my 60k special thing because I collect gas masks. That's all right, your mother. I'll be on for about 5-6 more minutes. It's really hurting my jaw at this point because it's been on for about an hour and I've been talking for it for an hour. The Huey I prefer just because of Vietnam. Yeah, that's the thing with. Oh, thank you, Laser Point. Cheers. I haven't seen you on a stream in a while, but I appreciate that. I don't know if you saw in the Discord or thing, but I've ordered the French mask. I keep forgetting the name of. Is it AFN? That's the mask the Polish MP5 was designed from or built under license or whatever. I've got that on order at the moment, and I'm probably going to buy a Mark 6A helmet when the stream ends because I have a Mark 6 and I have a Mark 7, but I don't have a Mark 6A. Sadly, it would be too much effort to get 100 masks out and then keep switching them every minute. Well, all masks make it harder to breathe to a degree, Textile, but a lot of it depends on the filter. A good filter has good airflow, basically. B-52 is a really, really cool plane. I forgot to mention earlier, B-52 is one of my favourite planes, but that's just because it's a really fucking cool bomber. And the Vulcan as well. The B-52 and the Vulcan I both love. Yeah, your mother, Laser Point's always really kind. You always give me donations, which I always really appreciate. What's that? Is that Clash? Is that Clash of Clans? If so, I've never played that, no. As I've said several times in the chat, Jimmy, and I'm getting a bit fed up of this already, the Polish Fu-1 suit is the best modern NBC suit I've got. Out of the older NBC suits I've got, probably the Polish L1 suit. But my opinion's not going to change every 5 minutes in the stream, just because people keep asking it. Yeah, it was 59,000 something. At the beginning of today, at like 7 a.m. UK time, I think it was about 59,950 or something like that, and I've ended up getting like 50 or 60 subs today, which is quite good. Because I was wondering today if it would actually be like halfway through tomorrow I got 60k. Right, Laser, what's a good time for me to stream for you to watch? Like 1 or 2 p.m. UK time? Because at the moment I've ended up doing a lot of streams in the evening again. But I don't mind doing some streams in the week at different times for people in different time zones. But I never know what's the best time for people, really. Cheers, Charlie. Norfolk N1M. The name sounds familiar, but I can't place it without looking at that. Let's have a Google. That's cool. I don't think I have seen that. Speaking of weird planes, search up the Avro car and see how Avro, a famous British company, died designing a flying saucer for the US. My favourite car is my Dacia Sandero, which I drive at the moment. Oh, funny story about that. Maybe not funny for some people. Right, cool. Yeah, I'll make sure I do at least one then Laser this week in early afternoon, just for like you and Hype and everybody else if they're around that's in that time zone. Driving in my Dacia today to work. A pigeon, you know, wood pigeons are really dumb. Don't worry, they're not endangered for the people worrying about this. They're considered pests in the UK. A wood pigeon flies across the road, but wood pigeons are too lazy to fly, a few yards in the air where they'd miss a car. Wood pigeon flies along, BAM! Off my car. So I was worried that it might have dented my car, because obviously I killed the wood pigeon. I hit about 50 miles per hour and it's ragdolled to the side. I normally obviously swerve to avoid animals, but if a pigeon just literally flies from a hedgerow and goes boom in front of your car, there's nothing you can do. Anyway, park the car. It's a Dacia. It's fine. I couldn't even work out where the pigeon hit it. There was, I think, a bit of feather on one of the bits of the bumper, but otherwise it was fine. So there you go. My Romanian car destroyed a wood pigeon. Yeah, the fucking stupid birds on it. I mean, if you have a really clear window, I can understand why they would do it, because they can't obviously work out that there's something there. Because birds weren't designed evolutionary, wise to work out the development of glass windows. But yeah, wood pigeons are really, really dumb. I'd feel bad for a vulture hitting a car though, because obviously, like, a vulture's a much rarer bird, isn't it? And it's also a bigger bird. Because obviously I like animals. I work at an animal shelter, volunteer at one during the week as a part-time kind of thing, just because I like animals. But wood pigeons are fucking stupid animals. I don't like despise them or anything, but I think this all the time. Like some birds, like crows, because corvids are smart, right? Generally, if a corvid flies across the road, they fly higher than all the vehicles, so they don't have to risk getting hit. Wood pigeons just go like out like that. It's like playing Frogger, basically. There's already a video of my car F4 Phantom. It's not exclusively about gas masks. But yeah, Jordan, why am I wearing a gas mask? Because I collect gas masks as one of the things on my channel. Totally depends on the bird. Birds are also useful for ecosystems, so you know. Anyway, I'll be off in a few minutes or a couple of minutes. If anyone's got any interesting questions or anything, post them in the chat. Thanks again for everybody that subscribed. I appreciate it. Thanks for all the super chats as well today. This has been quite a good stream for super chats. So remember, if you do want to support me, for the people that don't know, you can do super chats in the YouTube chat. I get about 70% of that. There's what's it called? Patreon? Yeah, I don't know couldn't remember what it's called. There's Patreon below and in the description. Patreon is another donating service a lot of channels use. I think Patreon and PayPal end up skimming about 20 cents. No, not 20 cents, 20% together. So in terms of stuff, Super Chat and Patreon doesn't really make much difference. I get a very similar amount for the same amount donated on either. And if you want to get something physically from donating, there's like stuff like this, the merch below in the Teespring stuff. I'll do a Stalker stream in the week because I've got Stalker Anomaly working fairly well on the system now and running stably. And the zombie mode actually works properly in that, unlike Call of Chernobyl. Yeah, I'll definitely stream tomorrow, Laser Point. I'm thinking, oh, that was the wrong person there. Sorry, let me undo that. Sorry, GDR dog. The chat moves when you tried to hide somebody. Right, done. There we go. Yeah, just make sure you post again, GDR dog, just to make me check work. But the person who kept spamming filthy birds, I don't think they're all that sound. For the people who didn't know, for some reason, Mike and our streams have been getting raided by trolls again recently. But yeah, it's just been one of those things where, you know, we've got loads and loads of weirder people coming on. So unfortunately, there might be a bit of collateral. Yeah. Well, I think recently, I don't know if it's been undone. You'll have to ask some of the people who go shooting about this. A while ago, some environmentalist guy in the UK made a fuss to stop people hunting pigeons, even though they're considered a pest species. So, you know, it's good when people shoot them because then they get to eat and it gets rid of a pest bird that fucks up crops and everything. So, anyway, this guy threw a fit over people shooting pigeons. And then the law had to be looked at for ages, which meant for ages people couldn't shoot pigeons legally. Let's not talk about stuff like that, Gigan. I can kind of get where you're coming from, but let's not give ideas to people, shall we? It shouldn't be GeoTrooper, but you can stop spamming the same message over and over. If it won't let you post on that one, but you can post on this one, just post on this one. If it's a decent power air rifle, well, you need to look at the law, because I still don't know if they've gone back to the old law where you could just shoot them, but it used to be. If you had an air gun, you can't do it with crossbows or bows, but with an air gun, obviously do it humanely. But, you know, like say you had like a 10 to 12 foot-pound air rifle, and you used like a hollow point, yeah, as long as it's on property you're allowed to shoot on, you could shoot pigeons all day. But they've changed the laws or whatever on that now. It's a bit iffy. You have to definitely research it before you do it. But I've been following that YouTube Union stuff, so let's see. But again, with anybody with hunting type stuff, make sure you look up the laws in your country or county or state or whatever. Because there's a lot of stuff like that where you can easily assume something is legal or whatever and get properly done for something. Right, let me just see if I missed any messages earlier, and then I'll end the chat. We've had a lot of people on tonight. There's been 81 likes, so thank you for that as well. Don't forget to like the stream if you haven't done already. Just see if we can get that like count even higher. I think the highest I ever got likes in one stream was probably 100, but when it was live anyway. But that was a stream that probably went on for like 2 odd hours, so there's a lot more chance to do it. But yeah, we've had a very good amount of viewers on tonight, so that's good. Car 1, Pigeon 0. I might do, Chris. I'll definitely do a video if I modify the Commando. One thing I was thinking of doing with the Commando, I don't know if it's practical, but it might be worth a fuck about with for a video. Where I've got like that British groin protector Kevlar stuff, I wondered if you could buy a load of that, Velcro it into the helmet, and actually have a Kevlar padded liner as the liner. I just thought it might be a good idea. But now I saw that Mark 7 video, I'm actually a lot more tempted to use my Mark 7. Not necessarily over the Commando, but, you know, the Mark 7 performs a lot better than I expected. That's the thing. Okay, so Chile's a few hours, isn't it, behind the UK? It's similar times to America, I guess, West Coast in the US. I'm seeing if I missed anything. But yeah, thanks Laser as well for saying that, you know, nice to see it's growing. The weird thing of YouTube is sometimes my channel gets loads of subs in 1 month and then it really slows down and then it just, you know, because a lot of people think of YouTube, when your channel's doing well, it just keeps doing that, like on a graph, but it's actually kind of like this. You know, it's kind of like a wavy, kind of spiky thing. Where sometimes, and a lot of it depends, I think, on how much the YouTube algorithms want to recommend videos of your channel in a while. Because obviously, that's what the whole Jorg Sprague thing is. It probably depends how much YouTube thinks they make money from a channel, how much they share the videos on it. There should be quite a bit, Chris, as well, in the Commando space-wise. But yeah, the Mark 7's quite thin in places, isn't it? But it'd just be quite an interesting thing to sort of do as an experiment. Because Weapon Collector, I get a silver play button there, and I can drill a hole in the wall, actually hammer it onto the wall, and put it up there with the signs. It would look great. But yeah, I think it might take a while to get to 100k. I think hopefully it seems to be year on year. I get the same number of subs as the previous year or more. Some years are better than others, just where YouTube decides it's going to randomly share some of my videos a bit more often. So anyway, what was I just saying? Because Weapon Collector had a good idea with some of the old steel pot helmets where there was a little blank space inside or outside. Where, you know, people could, you know, get like soft Kevlar padding, like the armor, either from the vests or, you know, the other bits where you get the Kevlar panels a different size, you know, like the wraparound soft body armor. And like wrap the panels around the outside of a steel pot or inside a steel pot or whatever, depending on, you know, if that was a cheaper way of doing it or whatever you had access to. Well, I think there's some logic in that. Yeah, exactly, applique armor. Very well put, Chris. That, yeah, if you've got the space to do it, and you can do it, it might make sense. Obviously, it will increase the weight a bit, but I just think it's quite an interesting experiment. Obviously, because I'm not in the US, I can't put this together and then get a gun and shoot it and see what happens. Because even my Mark 6 helmet, you know, the notoriously weak Mark 6, can stop a 12 foot-pound air rifle. But, you know, it's sort of interesting. If you've got this dead space somewhere in the helmet, you might as well put a bit of Kevlar filler in it, because why not? Oh, that's cool, yeah. SSH-40s are good helmets, actually. Thank you, Will. Hi, Peach, but unfortunately, I'm just going off. I've had the gas mask on for an hour and 15 minutes, though, and you can watch the entire stream if you don't believe me. Yeah, it's interesting, Laser. I might, again, have to go through a load of videos and work out if there's common factors. I can sort of do it in the analytics, but again, I think video, because the thing is, some videos get initially a lot of views when they're originally released. You know, and then sometimes you get videos that month on month or whatever get a steady amount of views, and they're the best ones, really, because in that sense, you've put the time and effort into a video, and it's always getting people watching it, even if it's not loads of people. And again, if you did a video like reviewing a certain gas mask, assuming it's on the surplus market, and people maybe see the mask for sale and then do a YouTube or a Google search of it, they might find your videos. Whereas sometimes I think the videos I make aren't really things that will pop up in search that well, because they're not the sort of things people would find by accident. They're sort of things where people would subscribe and then they might find that sort of video interesting, but otherwise they wouldn't look them up. No, Peach, otherwise I'd have been through like 75 filters at this point. I think it's 5 minutes in Metro on normal difficulty, isn't it? But still, what's that? 75 minutes divided by 5. My maths is shit, but 5 times 5 is 25. So, like, there's say it's 115 minutes. I've already forgotten. It wouldn't be 150. Fuck it. I'm shit at maths. My dad is a maths teacher. They should tell you that, and that's why I hated maths so much growing up. But no, I don't have a ghillie suit. Yeah, I've streamed Half-Life 2, so if you look on my channel, you can actually find videos of me playing it. Right, anyway, I'll go off now. My face hurts from the mask. I've probably got a sweat rash, but underneath it. But thanks, everybody. I think this is the longest I've ever worn a gas mask on a stream. Oh, we got to 100 likes. Excellent. Yeah, 100 likes. Thank you. So thanks, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed the stream. I've had a good evening. Thank you for all the donations and everything. Thank you for getting me to 60k subscribers, and I'll do a stream tomorrow. And have a good night, everybody. Right, cheers. Goodbye. Good night. See you all. Not Merry Christmas yet, or whatever, but bye.